वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. So we are discussing about Karma Yoga. Scriptures, unless they are useful to us, unless we can practicalize it, it remains a good scripture. We worship it, we respect it, but if we cannot use it, cannot put into practice, then it doesn't have, in our eyes, that much value of the scriptures. Many times Bhagavad Gita is called scripture of mankind. Not that it is for the sake of telling, not that other religions do not call their scriptures as scriptures of mankind, or they are not for the whole mankind. But most of the religions themselves say that the scriptures are meant for people who believe in that particular belief, particular person, particular book. Other than that, they are neither religious nor spiritual. Whatever they read, whatever they do other than that book or scriptures, there is no question of their spiritual progress or any progress. This kind of thought could be there. Among the practicing religions which are available today, whenever we talk about how old existing practicing religions are, the books and scriptures of Hinduism, when they were written, not that we say, even the Western scholars agree with that, there was no existing religion was there. The religions came, which we call religions, much later to the existence of these cosmic principles. People call Hinduism as Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana means eternal. It's always there. And without understanding the scripture, then you fight with other religions, telling that you are very junior, we are very senior. It's not from that point of view. It's not from historicity. But why it is called Sanatana? Why it is called eternal? Because the principles and the conclusions which are discussed in scripture of Hinduism, those principles are eternal. For example, law of gravitation was invented by Sir Isaac Newton not more than 300 years before. But does it mean that law of gravitation itself was not there? What you consider law of gravitation was not there. But apples used to fall only. Apple never went up. So the existence of the truth was there. People didn't know how to call it, how to qualify it. Though we don't go into that discussion, which is again controversial, though there is no controversy, but still people consider that as controversial because the whole world knows law of gravitation was given by Sir Isaac Newton. Now how to tell them that 1,000 years before in Hindu scriptures, not religious spiritual scriptures, but scriptures are in science, that also used to be in Sanskrit. There is a clear mention of a property of every thing that exists. What is the property of water? It will make the object wet and it will flow downward. This is the property. In the same way, the property of earth is to attract things towards it. Now we don't understand. If I throw this phone, because nothing is there in between, it falls. We do not think otherwise. Think there is this in my childhood, also we used to think. Think of a globe. You know, you have a globe in schools and you get in market also, which rotates. Think of that globe. Where is Singapore? Here. And if you are standing on Singapore, you are standing 90 degree. 90 degree to what? That means only the person on the North Pole is standing vertically. A person in South Pole is head down, leg up. If you draw the globe and put the people and buildings on that globe, of course, person on South Pole, head must be down. But he also feels his head is up and legs are down. Swami Vivekananda says a beautiful story that the school teacher was trying to invoke the idea of gravitation in the mind of children and told, okay children, I have a question. Earth is supported by whom? Is there any pillar on which the earth is there? Children say, no. Why the earth doesn't fall if there is no support? So all children sat down and cannot answer. In story, Swamiji says a small girl got up and asked the teacher, where should the earth fall? The falling and going up is related to the surface which you are connected with. There is nothing falling or flying in infinite sky, infinite space. We don't want to talk about that many things in Indian scriptures are written in Sanskrit. Later on came into English. There is no fight about it. The truth will shine one day as it has already shined. Already it is started. Many Western universities have started accepting this fact that it is not we who discovered many things. It is already there, references in Indian scriptures. That is not the question, authority or who found it first. That's a different topic, not the topic of our discussion. So the scriptures, unless it is useful to me, what's the value of it? You recite some shlokas, you feel happy about it, that's it. He has Bhagavad Gita, a book, beautiful book, and he worships every day with a flower. Nothing wrong about it. Can he achieve anything out of the Bhagavad Gita? In a practical sense, let us not go, oh, God's grace, he can understand that, he can understand anything. But just by worshipping a book, you can't get anything. You need to study it. And just by studying as a subject, 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, you don't celebrate. 2 minus 2 is equal to 0, you don't become depressed. Because that is the truth. Scriptures have to be utilized in our life. Principles of scriptures which are discussed are meant for us. Krishna is not telling to Arjuna, Krishna is telling to you and me. So one thing which everybody does, a spiritual, non-spiritual, religious, non-religious, atheist, believer, what everybody does in this world is karma. Nobody is free from that. On that philosophies are developed, or the theological development is there, or people's belief is there. That's a different thing. But we all do karma. There is one principle given in Bhagavad Gita, that nobody can stay without doing karma. That is true. Now, how to do karma? Why to do karma? What happens if I don't do karma? Or I reduce my karma? These discussions are there. So in the line of what we were discussing till now, last about 6-7 weeks, the two pillars of karma which makes your karma as karma yoga. One is control over yourself, and one is detachment. I was thinking that where in Bhagavad Gita detachment Sri Krishna tells in many places, that we shall talk maybe today or next class if necessary. So one is control. If your car doesn't have a brake, what will be the condition of the car? Same way, if you do not have control over your senses, you will go and collide somewhere. So whatever we do with our senses, we must exercise certain control over it. That Krishna says. One is called Shama, one is called Dhamma. What is Shama and Dhamma? Control over mind and control over the senses. Uncontrolled mind and uncontrolled senses are the problem. Problem for oneself, also problem for the society. So we should have exercised control over it. Many ways it is told in scriptures. Many scriptures says in extreme sense, which very few people practice or can adopt. That is one thing. But in general, Sri Krishna says that too. Tasmat indriyani adau niyamya bharatarshava. At least have little control over your senses. I'm not telling absolute control. At least you should have a concept that I should control. Whether I am able to control or not is a different thing, but having no concept, that you will find in some people who are going away from the path, mostly in the negative sense, is because of absolute no control over themselves. In day-to-day life, having no control over the speech, we have so much misunderstanding within the relations. No control over the desires. Keep on buying things. There is no place to keep in the home. Little senses. I was invited to one house somewhere. Literally, there is no place to walk. Huge house. Literally, there is no place to walk. As soon as you enter the house, there is a 5 feet distance between two walls. Both the side, 1 or 2 feet are occupied with things. Wherever you go, oh nice, so beautiful, because you have money. Oh, let us buy. To keep where? We shall find out a place. Then the house becomes a museum. How to get rid of it? Don't know. Suddenly you are transferred. Can't take also. Can't throw also because it's very expensive. These are common problems. But if you exercise little, you like it. If you're allowed to take a picture, take a digital picture. Whenever necessary, just see it. Oh, now internet is there anywhere. Whatever you want to see, you can see. But you spend so much money, occupy the space and fill up your home. In the same way, there are many problems in our life because of lack of control over the mind and over the senses. Take any sense, take your tongue. Some people, if you go to their house, open the fridge, they themselves cannot find. So much, everything is stuffed. And suddenly, wow, expired 2 months before. Wow, this was given to me 1 month before. Cooked food, so nice. But now cannot be, all fungus inside. Every sense has a problem. So it doesn't take more time. We don't need to judge anybody. We are not here for that. But when you see something, immediately we should think about ourselves. How much control I have. It doesn't matter whether you have control or not. My life depends on what I have control or not. My life doesn't depend on whether you have control or not. So there is no question of criticizing anyone. But learning, if you commit a mistake, it's a lesson for remaining people. Hey, don't do like this. You see the condition. We are not happy that because of your mistake or uncontrolled way you suffer. We are not happy. But you taught a lesson to us that if you don't have control, I also will end up like that. So control over the mind and control over the senses. This is one very, very fundamental aspect of Karma Yoga, from spiritual sense also, from practical sense also. Second aspect is detachment. Detachment, Sri Krishna says it is must. Attachment is to cling to the things, to the place, to the people, to the concept, to the thoughts, to concepts. And we are not able to give it up. What happens if my feet are stuck here? I won't be able to walk even a step. Think of that mind which is clinging to something. That mind cannot progress. To progress, you must give up the present state of your mind. To go higher is to renounce the lower. If you do not renounce the lower, how you can go higher? You want to go to temple, but you don't want to leave car park area. You must renounce this level and go to the next level, then go to the next level. It's difficult. Today one old devotee came, around 85 years old. Wow, Swamiji, I have to stand and rest for 2 minutes, 2 to 3 times before I come from the main gate to temple. You know how much is the difference of levels? Bartley Road is 30 feet down. Then you stand in front of the temple. You don't even climb those 2 steps to look at Mother. That level, near the boys' home in front of office or that corridor, that in Bartley Road is 30 feet. When you go down, do you think you went 30 feet down? No. So to go up is always difficult. To renounce the lower ideas is difficult. Other day, I was talking to some devotees in India. The topic came. I said, we all go to temple and pray to God, oh God, bless me. Are you able to digest the grace of God? They say, why? Grace of God is always a blessing. It's not always sweet. That which cures your disease, medicines are never sweet. Unless you make it sweet artificially. Sri Ramakrishna says, not me, if God wants to bless you, the first thing he does is crushes your ego, and it's very painful. You ask for your blessings, and your ego is not ready to be crushed. Your ego do not want to be altered. So it is not easy to digest the grace of God. I saw one video, a great saint, great monk. So a devotee came and told, Swamiji, my friend doesn't want to come and hear your lectures. I said, why? Because there is no point of going there. If you go and hear his 2 lectures, everything I feel like renouncing. In a positive sense. He doesn't want to come in a very, very positive sense because he has understood that. So idea is this, that progress in spiritual life cannot happen unless your attitude, purpose, goal, way, method of doing karma doesn't improve. How many of us can do spiritual practice, japa, dhyana? How many hours a day? What happens to the rest of the day? Rest of the day we are busy in doing karma. Any karma. You may be cooking, you may be sweeping, you may be looking after children, you may be doing anything. Everything is karma. And no karma is good or bad unless you make it good or bad. But if you have to do, we have to do with a small element of detachment. And the detachment doesn't come unless this concept is clear about the goal of life. If your goal is somewhere, then whatever comes on the way, you do not get attached to it because you know I have to go there. So detachment, to practice detachment, the first necessity is to make the goal clear. What I want. I was telling one day, intermittently sometimes we have to ask ourselves, why do I do what I do? Why I am doing what I am doing? Is there any meaning? Is there any purpose? Is it helpful for my purpose? So the goal is decided, then only question of control and question of detachment comes. If you do not have a goal, you can be very easily settle down with the lower things of life because you don't have a higher goal. So first of all, to know that there is something higher, then getting convinced that yes, I want it, I want to reach that goal. No point of worshipping a God if you do not want to be God. Means like him or her. So to be like him or her, you need to practice the values and virtues which he or she practiced. And there you will require this detachment with the present state of mind, and control of the senses, which helps you to progress. So karma becomes karma yoga with these two pillars. One pillar is shamadama, another pillar is detachment. Even if you feel it's not easy to be detached, what makes you detached? Think I am attached to the specs without which I cannot live. Maybe not because of the utility, but because of the cost, because of how nice it is from that point of view. How I can be detached? Simple answer is, I will be detached to it once I know it is useless to me. Then only you can be detached. But how to say it is useless? It is very useful to me. How to be detached? I am giving this example only. Whatever expensive it is, whatever beautiful it is, it has its life. Not that it will be destroyed in time, it will. As soon as my number of, that changes, these glasses become useless to me because changes come into my eyes. So should I be attached to this glass? No. When I am telling attached to glass means I am attached to the frame which is so expensive. Mind will never allow you to be detached. Will find out some and tell, oh, be attached because of this. Then what you say to yourself, this is very useful to me, could be expensive. Glass is important, not the frame. Frame is important so far as it is comfortable to wear. It doesn't matter whether it is made of bamboo or it is made of gold. So far the frame is comfortable, you put the proper glasses and you can see. It is not the frame which makes me to see good so clearly, but it's the glass. In the first few pages of the Gospel, Sri Ramakrishna uses a word called vichara. Think about it. Discriminate about it. Vichara means discrimination. Whenever your mind is attached to something, we need to think about it. We need to discuss about it. We need to analyze about it. But we don't have time. So we remain attached throughout the life unless and until nature takes it away from you. That time you feel pain. Swamiji says in one place, before the nature takes it away from you, renounce voluntarily. What renounce means? Throw away. No. Be detached. Ishavasya Upanishad, first sloka. Ishavasyamidam sarvam yatkincham jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha. Enjoy doesn't mean enjoy. Enjoy means to deal with. Vyavahara. Tyaktena. You use it with detachment. No harm in using it. You can't live without it. Can we live without a room? We have to live a room. Can I live without computer? No. Can I live without phone? No. A very funny incident happened. Sri Ramakrishna came out of Dakshineshwar because of medical treatment. 7 days he stayed in Balaram Basu's house. And after that he stayed for about 75 days in Shampukur. Now the Shampukur Thakur was staying. Holy Mother was still in Dakshineshwar. Holy Mother joined little later. In that some incident happened, Some ladies went and told to Holy Mother, "Haha, he just left you here. Actually, Thakur doesn't love you, that's why." And mother was very simple. No, this cannot happen. Then you see, why he left then? Something like that. But anyway, when Sri Ramakrishna was not well, and there was nobody to cook, so Sri Ramakrishna called her. Then Holy Mother comes to Shampukur. People were there at that time also. Don't think eyes were closed, even for Sri Ramakrishna. A devotee, so far as I remember, it was Mahendralal Sarkar. He said, "You always speak something, but you see, you need Kamini also, you need Kanchana also. You need woman, you need money." Because Holy Mother was called there. What was Sri Ramakrishna's answer? He told to Master Mahashaya, "Why don't you explain to him? You understand, correct?" It was neither woman from that point of view, requirement of Holy Mother, neither Kanchana, money meant in the normal sense of the term for Sri Ramakrishna. So here, you need to deal with it. You cannot go away from that. How you deal with it is more important. We need land, we need money, we need devotees, we need people, we need volunteers, we need everything. But there is no sense of ownership. Detachment is here. There is no sense of ownership. The moment ownership comes, then attachment will come. That's why when we are transferred, have you seen any monk crying because he is transferred? No. Wow, I was so good, such a beautiful Singapore ashram. I was president there, Wow, suddenly they want me to transfer. I have to give up everything. I don't know where I'm going to. No monk ever cried. Because there was no ownership. But we live here as if I own it. This as if is very important. And this as if word, I don't know whether now I have time or not to say. This as if word is utilized so beautifully by Adi Shankaracharya in his Bhagavad Gita Bhashya. Sri Ramakrishna utilizes that. Do your household work as if you are a maid servant. Maid servant does more work than you in your house. And here I hear in many houses, my madam says that, or sometimes if the motherliness is there, or the mother of the house says that, these words maid will use it. They will use it. Sri Ramakrishna says, but in their heart of hearts, she knows, this is not my house. My house is somewhere in Philippines, somewhere in Indonesia, somewhere in Sri Lanka, Malaysia, India, somewhere. In the same way, we are here. Even if you are attached, a time will come when it will be peeled off from your mind and from your body, from your life. If you have dealt with detachment, it won't be painful. Because, this Holy Mother says in one place, because don't be attached to anyone. Don't be attached to any person. Because separation is inevitable. You have to be separated one day. What? All will get divorced? No, not from that point of view. Death will separate you. Situation will separate you. Holy Mother says that way. Deal with everybody positively, with all love, affection. But LOVE capital is only for the sake of God. You don't need to do any drama with anybody. It's the real you. But this element of detachment has to be there. If it is not there, the more attachment you have, more painful is your life. Look at the children. Take away small chocolate from him, the whole world will be come to know that somebody took away his chocolate. Other day it happened to one boy. He was holding an empty bottle, water bottle, small, which we have plenty. And he is screaming for something. So I went there and very, not anger or anything. I said, why you are crying for this one small stupid water bottle? Boy, he cried more, don't call my bottle stupid. I said, no, sorry, your bottle is very intelligent. Then he was quiet. But I have so many bottles. Then give me one. So I gave him the full sealed water bottle and took away the empty bottle from him. Incident is not important. People can be attached to anything, any silly concept, a silly idea, silly things. Hold on to it. Without that, my life is gone. Everything you can have. Scriptures never categorized and told what you should have, what you should not have. Nowhere. Whatever you need to have, you have with a small element of detachment. Detachment is important. Your way of life, your station in life, your placement in your life, who you are, what you are, whatever, for the status sake, for this sake, whatever you need to do, you do with an element of detachment. So that the thing which you got it or you bought it for your use, if you are detached, you will be using these things or articles or the things. If you are attached, that thing will use you. Otherwise, this concept is discussed beautifully. I think we have mentioned few times. This is the aspect which needs little thinking. Simple example to understand it. All of us have traveled in train. If two trains are standing on a platform, the other train moves, you feel your train is moving. Or your train is moving so slowly, you feel the other train is moving. This is the example to keep in mind. I am growing. I was a child. I became a young man. I became middle-aged. I am growing older. We came here at 6 o'clock. Now it is 6:30. Half an hour passed. These are our common statements. Half an hour did not pass. We passed. Time is standstill. Time never passes. We pass. I was child, I became old. Time doesn't become old. This aspect is discussed many places, very prominently used by Bhartrihari in his Vairagya Shatakam. Vairagya Shatakam is the 100 shlokas on renunciation. Don't think it is only for the monks. Please read it. Very interesting. In that he says, Bhogana bhukta vayameva bhukta. We don't enjoy things. Things are enjoying us. If I was enjoying food, then why I became old? I am taking food last 50, 60 years. Then How I became old? If I am taking food, I should remain the same, no? Young, no? By taking food also, I am growing old. I am not eating food. Food is eating me slowly and making me old. So what is truth? Truth is the second one, not the first one. Kalo na yata, vayameva yata. Time doesn't pass, we pass. Maya is this. The truth is sin totally in an opposite sense by us, which is very wrong, but still, as we give example many times, volumes and volumes of poetry is written on the beauty of sunrise and sunset. The sun neither rises nor sets. If the earth goes towards the sun, we feel sun is rising. Earth goes away from the sun, we see sun is setting. Sun neither rises nor sets. But still we see, sunrise, sunset, accordingly calculation you do, AM, PM we write. But truth is something very different. That's why it is said, truth is nowhere, truth is here and now. This is Vedanta. If you want to be liberated, you should be liberated here and now. Not after doing this sadhana, I will be liberated. No. Because liberation also is a concept. You just understand it. We had one great Swami, Swami Ashokananda. He was in San Francisco. He was the only Swami, so far as we know. He is the only Swami in our order, in the history till now, who was not formally initiated by anyone, but he has initiated many people. He joined the order. Swami Brahmanji was president. He came and told Maharaj, please initiate me. Brahmanji said, how can I initiate you? You are already initiated by Swami Vivekananda. He said, I have not seen even Swami Vivekananda. No, Swamiji is sitting in you. Brahmanji passed away in 1922. Mahapurush Maharaj, Shivananji became president. He went to Shivananji. Maharaj, please initiate me. Mahapurush Maharaj said, I can't initiate you. You are Swamiji's disciple. So he was not formally initiated by anyone. Then he was sent to San Francisco. So he told to Mahapurush Maharaj, what happens if people ask initiation from me? I myself am not initiated. Think he was not a direct disciple. The way Mahapurush Maharaj told about him to him, whatever will come out of your mouth will be like initiation for people. What a certificate to him. Then guided him what to do, what not to do. So what we were talking is this, that these two pillars, detachment and control, how much we are able to do is one thing, but that we should do, this concept is to be clear. I must have some control over my mind, I must have some control over my senses, I must have some detachment. At least that much we should be convinced. Then only question of being detached and being able to control the senses and mind will come. But one who doesn't know this concept at all, there is no way. People's suffering cannot come to an end. Last few days, I met some people, and I was more and more reaffirmed. There is no dearth of love and sympathy for that person. So another person also was with me. So I say, you see, if the suffering is written for you, even there are people to reduce your suffering. Your attachment doesn't. That's why I say, hey, look at me. Weeping, crying like anything. I say, wipe your tears and look at me once. Be detached. Be detached little. How to be detached? They are my children. I said, they will remain your children with detachment. Nobody is telling you to sacrifice it. But the suffering has to go. You are not detached. You invite trouble to help somebody. No. As a beggar doesn't have a right to do charity. If you have, you do charity. You don't borrow and do charity. You will be never free from debts, I told. Little detachment. Say, no, I don't have money. Whom? To your own father. Father thinks, my daughter is in Singapore and she is rolling in money. Tell him it is not true. And she will borrow money and send to father. Bottomless desires, other side. I said, how much loan you want to make? And your life is so miserable. Then eventually I thought, a shloka, though I don't remember the shloka, 3,500 years before in Mahabharata, Yudhishthira says this. Whatever riches are there in this world, whatever objects of enjoyments are there in this world are not sufficient even for one person, not percent, one person. Misery of one person you cannot completely remove. Because your misery depends on your ignorance. Until that ignorance goes, nobody can remove your misery. Any amount of money, any amount of comfort, any amount of food cannot reduce the misery. That's why knowledge is so important, information is so important. Even if you can't practice spirituality, at least understand the concepts that I must do this. I'm not able to do today, but I will do it one day. But I know I should do it. That itself will help you. But not to be aware about it, that there is something called control of mind. There is something called control over the senses. There is something called detachment. If this itself we are ignorant about, there is no question of our becoming detached. There is no question of our controlling our mind and senses. So we shall talk more in details about this. The two pillars of our life, detachment and control over the mind and senses. Thank you. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.